Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're from. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about Picote lateral reinstatement using Picote tools. So this is something that I think Picote's been very well known for from the very beginning, because our own services team in Finland are rehabilitating inside buildings every day, and they're lining every pipe, so they're always having to open the laterals. And that's why a lot of these tools have been developed and upgraded over the years. And we'd like to share that with you. So, of course, we've got tools for different types of situations, whether it's a PVC pipe or it's cast iron. We feel like there's always a solution. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand you over to Kimo. He's going to start talking about some of those methods for opening the laterals and take you through the tools. And then they're going to do some live demonstrations as well. If you have any questions, please hang on to them and you can put those in the Q&A and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Okay, thanks, Kimo. I'll hand over to you now.
All right, thank you, Dawn. So I'm Kimmo from Picote, and here we have.
I'm Jukka. Nice to see you all, guys.
And now we do some basic reinstatement tool introduction, and then we do actual cutting. So we reinstate 3 connections with different tools because they have different purpose. So we can begin with the sample. I don't know how well it picks on the camera, but here we have a lined pipe, lined plastic pipe. So then all the connections are closed. So this is the closed connection. Then we have the next one is opened with the Twister Express. So you can actually see you have a little bit of edge on the lateral. And then it's finished with the smart cutter. So then you have the connection 100% open. And the idea is that when you have these tools, they go easily through the bends in small diameter pipes, and then they're really easy to use. And compared to robotic drill, so that this is like a second method for it, and it doesn't need a long training to do this inside buildings. So quick tool overview. So let's put this aside. So we have a special drill heads. And all of the tools, they come in different sizes. So depending what shaft are you using, so 8mm, 12mm. And this, for example, is a special drill head for good to do the first cut, like a pilot hole in the connection, and then you can finish it up with the smart cutter. And this is the most basic where it goes. So, for example, if you have 3-inch or 70mm pipe, you can't go in with the twister because it just doesn't fit in there. So then you can cut with this special drill head, and then continue from there with the smart cutter. And we have like many different sizes and for different size pipes. And sometimes even if there's 2-inch pipe where you can go in with the tool, but the reinstatement is 4-inch. That is also possible to do, but of course it's then more slowly because you have to start from the with the smaller tool. And also we have this. Let's just show them closer. So we have, this is the standard, the special drill head. So when we are using this later, but it's meant when it goes into the lateral and we cut through the liner, then the sides are doing the actual work to make it bigger And it also depends, this is more like a small detail, but how much exposed shaft you have behind here, because you need to have this to bounce around a little bit to open the connection. And then this is the same tool, but we have this outer lip around the tool to protect a pipe. For example, if we are drilling plastic pipe, this is one option to use. So, but of course it's recommended to see what you're doing with the camera, but this lip prevents this tool from bouncing around, so it's more gentle for plastic pipe. So then we go to the twisters. So this is the most basic tool what I like to use when I do reinstatements. So this is the Twister Express. We have this cutting head here, and the cutting tools, the process are bigger than the cutting head. So the process are centralizing the tool inside the pipe. So when you do, let's say, plastic, you line plastic pipes and you reinstate the connections, this tool goes through the liner, but the press is preventing this tool going through the actual pipe itself, the host pipe. And how the sizes are selected from the twister is that you have for each size pipe. For example, now I have the 4-inch or 100 millimeter options. So I have two sizes for lined pipes if there's a liner inside, and here we have a twister for unlined pipes. And depending on your situation, let's say that you have the liner in the pipe, so then you can go with the smaller size. And maybe sometimes even the pipe size is smaller than 100, so then you can go maybe in with this. But we have like basically these for 70 lined, unlined, and then 100, 150, and so on. We also have the new twister, which is the Tiger twister, and it does the same job as the Express, but I'll just show the difference. So with the Express, we have here the cutting head, it's hardened metal. But with the Tiger twister, we have this hardened carbide metal pieces. So the tool head is longer lasting, and also if you reinstate glass fiber liner, this is much tougher tool to do it. So the Tiger twister is more strong and more longer lasting. Then we have actually here a used Tiger twister with the Tiger cup adapter on front of it. So this is exactly the same tool as I showed before, but here we have this extra cutting piece on top of the plate. So sometimes if you need this extra height or like a length to the tool, you can add this Tiger cup on front of the twister. And yeah, we also have these smaller sizes for, let's say, the smallest twister is the 2-inch or 50 millimeter, and this is the 3-inch or 70 millimeter twister for 8 millimeter shaft. And how everything this works, that first we cut with the twister, we get a little bit liner left on the outer edges, so then we go in with the smart cutter and finish the connection with this tool. And for the smart cutter, we have the 3 options here, just to preview. So basically, there is a catalog full of different smart cutter heads, but how this works, you have the hub, and then you have the side grinding panels. and they are changed by removing this end plate from the tool, and then you can change each panel individually. And there is different sizes, and you can have this with 2 panels, 4 panels, 6 panels, and so on. So we basically have for each pipe size up to DN, is it like 300?
Yeah.
We have these options. So basically inside houses we have a smart cutter for each connection. And here we have the smart cutter panels, so they come like this. And we have 2 options for the roughness of the panel. We have the standard, and then we have the XT. So the XT is more rough, so it's faster. And also we have finishing panels and so on. So there's quite a lot of these. And so this is only like a small portion of our what we have available in these tools. And lastly, we have this. This is the newest reinstatement tool. So this is the Express drill chain, and out of the package it looks like this. But when we attach it to the shaft, you can see how it operates, and the chain and the front drill head can be changed. So sometimes you wear out this first, you can change it, there's screws on top, or then you can change the chain if the chain gets damaged. And we have the hardened carbide pieces on the front of the chain, so when we do the reinstatement and it goes through the liner, we already start cutting. So this is the Express drill chain, and I have the front drill head separately. So this just attaches to here, and then you attach the chain itself to the shaft, and you can go working. And one thing about this chain, it's more like more for experienced users, because this is really hard for the pipe, because when you do reinstatement and you start going through the liner, this chain is also hitting the pipe balls. So it's important to know what you're doing when you're using the Express chain. So it's always the safest way is go in with the twister, do the cutting with the twister, then with the smart cutter. But let's say that if you have cast iron connections and lots of those connections in a row, and you just need to open them fast, then you can use the Express drill chain to do the reinstatement, and it's efficient. So the next thing is that we are going to move forward, and we start with the twister. So we use the Express twister to reinstate DN100 4-inch connection, and then we finished it with the smart cutter. And I don't know how well it picks in the camera, but let's see what we can do, how we can show it. Laitan nämä takas siihen.
So just while everybody's setting up there, just to let you know, it's possible to, of course, do product training, which includes the lateral reinstatement range at any of our training centres. So either at Porvoo in Finland, which is where Jukka and Kimmo are based at the moment. In the UK, it's Sandhurst, our training centre there, or in Phoenix in Arizona. So this is all something that our guys can go through with you too.
So here we are attaching the tool, and here the machine is super MIDI with the 12 millimeter shaft, so it's a half inch. And always remember to check the shaft, that if it's damaged, so then we show them the shaft that we have a good quality shaft where we attach the tool, because if you lose the twister in the pipe, and just sometimes that happens, but it's not like a common issue, but it's really takes a little bit of time to fish it out. So tool looks like this. Now it's attached to the machine. Here we have a DN100, a 4-inch pipe, and we have lined the main. So let's see, can I show it on camera? So as you can see, it's the liner is on the closed, or the connection is closed with the lateral, with the liner. And as you can see here, the pipe is 4-inch or 110 millimeters. I'm having this DN100 tool, so I still have some space between the pipe and the tool itself. So now I start cutting, and I go in and out. So I don't want to get the tool stuck while I'm doing it. So I need to go in and do the cutting like a short time, pull the tool out and go in just a little bit, that I can get the debris out from the process and from the tool head. So it centralizes better.
Okay, I'm just muting you there, Kimmo, while you do that. Richard, I don't know, do you have anything you want to add while Kimmo's going through the process?
Yeah, I'll talk through as Kimmo machines through. So we've got the twister on the end, and you kind of move it slowly in up to the face, hold it, and then put it back out and keep going back in and then out. The idea is that as you go in, you're starting to cut. When you pull the shaft back out, then what it does, then it removes the debris away from the front of the cutter. So what we've got is, we've also got a camera down in the main line, so we can see it coming through. So when we start cutting, we always go to slow speed. Like I said, the maxi will go from 500 up to 1,475 RPM. We go down initially at a slow speed, about 700 RPM. If you go any faster, the cutter will bounce off the face of the liner and then could damage the hose pipe. But once the cutter head starts to penetrate, then we just move it back out slowly, and we can increase the speed. And generally with the maxi, there you can see the cutting head. So generally with the maxi, we'll slowly increase the speed up 11 to 1200 RPM. So you can see that it started, looks like that's just started to penetrate through the, oh no, they've done the reinstatement now already, so they've partially cut it in the first place. So you can see now that the cutter's gone all the way through, but what we've now got is we've got that extra piece of material just protruding over into this, over the connection. So we're going to do now, that lip, we're going to remove using the Pecote Smart Cutter. So we take the camera out and then I should then go down with the Smart Cut and the grinding panels just to remove that lip. Yuka's now got, there we are. It is handy to know that obviously when we use the machine, we always use it so it's rotating clockwise. So you need to ensure that you've put the panels in the correct way round. So as you can see here, if we rotate it clockwise, then you can see that the rough side of the panel is coming into contact with the pipe, and that will then grind away the excess liner. Use Smart Cutter for loads of things. We can use it to remove tree roots. We can grind back metal intrusions with it. We also have some contractors that do specialist steel pipe fabrication, and they use the Smart Cutter to remove to smooth off, grind away the internal bead when they're doing steel fabrications. But we use it to grind away excessive liners and material, descaling, root cutting. Like I said, intruding connections, it will grind away. So it is a very versatile tool. And not only that, it's probably the only tool apart from the 3D chains which you can use in multiple diameters. So most of our Smart Cutters are designed to be used within 2 pipe diameters. And again, when we start using the Smart Cutter to grind away, we also make sure that we keep the speed around about 900 RPM. If you go too fast, it does not grind, it just skims over the surface. So, you want to keep the speed slow. And it comes in various sizes. We have the we have a hub for the 8mm machines, the 10mm, the 12mm machines. And we can put front panels on, etc., metal panels on, and drill heads. There I see. They're slightly warmed down, so they're good for finishing off.
Sorry, Kimo, I can't unmute you. Maybe you have to, can you unmute yourself?
I can't unmute him either. So what we do is we wrap, you can fold the panels around so you can feed it into the pipe. Sometimes if you want to keep them folded, especially if you're going through a manhole, we can put either elastic bands around to hold them in place, or we can put some PVC tape. As soon as you spin them up, the tape will come off, the elastic band will snap. But it does make it easier to get it into the hose pipe. So now we're spinning it, and we're slowly going backwards and forwards. We tried to move it backwards and forwards just a little bit. It helped to grind back the liner and the material that we've just cut through. We keep the camera down the hose pipe so we can see what we're doing. That helps the operator then. And what we try to do is centralize the panels inside the length of the panels against the edge that we're cutting. See here, we're just going backwards and forwards. Speed's round about 900 RPM. We just grind away. Generally, you'll do this for 2 minutes, and then you'll go down and put a camera down to check how much you removed, and then start again and run it for 2 minutes at a time. If you run it longer, there's always a risk that you're going to cut through the liner, but also start cutting through the PVC plastic junction. And again, we're going to push the camera down, and hopefully we might see that you can see where we've started to cut the material back. Obviously, this one's a Y. So the beauty and advantage of using the Smart Cutter here is that as the panels cut, they will open out and it would produce a proper elliptical connection. So there you can see now we've got the majority now has been reinstated. We've just got a little lip that there that you can see, but it's only a very small one, and the guys can go back down with the grinding panels in the Smart Cutter again just to trim that back further. So again, they've just gone back in just to take grind back a bit more of the open up the hole so it's more elliptical as well. There we go. It's a nice view of how we've ground it back, reduced the lip.
So Richard, that only took a few minutes, but I assume then it just depends which tool you use, how long it takes to grind down that excess resin.
Yeah, and whether you got new panels on or old panels. Generally, we'll start machining with the new panels, but if we're working in plastic pipe, just to get that final finish, they'll change they'll take out the panels and they'll put some used panels in, and then they're not as aggressive, so you just get that polishing effect with them. I think what they're doing now is they're just fitting the special drill head, and they're going to, instead of using a twister now, they're going to use a drill head, the special drill head there, and that's a special drill head type 2. So what we've got there, we've got the teeth in the middle, and we've got 4 cutting edges, and then we've also got teeth down the body of the cutter. So once we've actually cut through and penetrated into the liner, then they'll hold the cut in the middle, and the teeth on the edge, the cutter will tumble around and open up the hole. So that's the plan on the next one. So where we've got access issues and we can't get a twister in, then the guys will use you can use the special drill head. So again, we're just going down slowly, but it's the same cutting action when we start to cut. One of the advantages we have in the outer casing is you can actually take the CCTV camera to the outer casing and then watch, and you can then watch what you're doing. So here, slow speed, and we're just trying to hold it central until the teeth start cutting. Again, with everything, if you go too fast to start off with, the cutter will just bounce around, skim off the surface, and then there's a risk that you're going to create a damage the hose pipe. But as soon as we've got that into consistent cutting noise, and again, when you're using our machines, you're feeling the vibration through the shaft, but you're also listening to the noise that the cutter makes. And you can see here now they've penetrated through, and we're just keeping the middle of the body inside in the hole, and the cutter's tumbling around, and the teeth on the side of the cutter and now cutting and making the hole, enlarging the hole. We'll enlarge it as much as we can do without damaging the hose pipe, and then you'll come out, you'll take the special drill head off, and you will then go down with the smart cutter and the grinding panels to fully reinstate the junction. But again, it's quite simple to use. You can see now there that we've gone down, so you can see the cutter coming through. You can see how it's tumbling around inside the pipe, allowing the cutters on the side, the blades on the side, to trim back. So special drill heads we can use for doing reinstatement, but we can also use them for cutting out roots and intruding objects. So again, they are very versatile. There we go. You can see now that we've probably done about 80%, 85% of the reinstatement. And then it'll be time then to swap the special drill head for the Pecote Smart Cutter. So we have a range of special drill heads. So for each machine, we have generally we'll have 3 different size heads, drill heads. They obviously vary in length and diameter as well. So we always, if you've got multiple bends in the pipe between you and where you want to start cutting, if it's multiple bends, then sometimes you want to go down with the smaller special drill head, because that's shorter in, it's smaller in diameter, but it's also shorter in length, so it's not going to damage the bend. And there we got the ready with the Smart Cutter. Again, you see here, you wrap it around to put it in the pipe. At that stage there, we could hold the panels in place with some PVC tape or elastic band, just so you can get it into the pipe. It's great here because we're working off a bench, but in real life, you could be working in a 2 or 3 meter deep manhole. So camera down in the hose pipe. There we go, and then we're going down the lateral, and you can see the grinding panels and the Smart Cutter rotating. Again, we do a whole range of Smart Cutters. Like I said, the Smart Cutter, one Smart Cutter will do 2 pipe diameters, but you'll normally see that there's 2 or 3 options available for each pipe diameter. Generally, if you've got multiple bends, then you'll use the shorter Smart Cutter hub. If you're going straight in and there's no bends and it's straightforward, straight down the pipe, then you can then go in with the larger, longer hubs, which means you know you're going to get the job done quicker. If you look at the quick guides we have for the Smart Cutter, there's 2 or 3 hubs for each pipe diameter. They will do 2 pipe diameters as well, and we always say on the guide, if you've got multiple bends, use the smaller hub. Like I said, I know Dawn's mentioned the training courses that we do, but part of the training courses, yeah, we'll show you how to set up the hub, how to build the Smart Cutter, explain the difference in diameters and lengths, etc. And also you get to use a cutter. So you can see here that we've already ground a fair bit of the excess material away now. So we're slowly getting there. There's a little bit on the edge, on the right hand side edge, you're looking at the camera, that's still protruding out. But it's the, like I said, it's the bit of run the machine slowly, run it for no more than 2 minutes, and then go back down with the camera. And just keep checking your progress every 2 minutes. And we're not going fast with this. Like I said, that's about 700-800 RPM. We're just holding that in place and let the grinding panels do the work.
it's worth mentioning as well that, in case you wondered, the Smart Cutter is called the Smart Cutter because it also used to be a reinstatement cutter. So I suppose now we have even greater, faster options for doing the actual reinstatement itself, but it can still be used for that purpose too. And of course, then be used to grind it out. But it's a really great overall tool and very versatile for a lot of different cleaning and rehabilitation needs. And also, it won the International Product of the Year, the ISTT Product of the Year in 2012. So Kimo's now showing us that finished reinstatement. What do you think, Richard? Still got a bit left?
It's still got a little bit left, yeah, but it's on the on the trailing edge. So it needs still got some more to do, but like I said, I think for the purpose of the demo, I think they've demonstrated both the versatility of the twisters and also the Smart Cutter. Okay, we're now going to demonstrate the new express chain. Now, so again, the tool has been mounted onto what we call a leader, and then we've got a standard shaft connector on, so it makes life easier for changing the tools over, but also it preserves the shaft on the Maxi Miller as well, reduces wear and tear. They're just sorting themselves out with the camera. So on this one, yeah, we've got a bit of PVC pipe just so we can run the cutter down, but then you can see then we're running into instead of a plastic connection, this is a steel connection. So when we're using the express chain, drill chain, the idea is it's very, very aggressive, and instead of holding the tool against the surface that you're cutting, we do actually keep going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. As we come back out, the chain will re-centralize in the lateral, and then you go back down, and instead of cutting a hole in the middle, what it's actually doing is it's punching little holes all the way round the liner on the junction, which means that what we're doing is we're weakening the liner. But you can see here that it comes through very, very quickly, And obviously then behind the drill head, we actually have got the original chain. So the chain starts then cutting back the liner and making the hole bigger. So what the chains are doing is replacing the use for the smart cutter. So it's a very, very quick way of doing a complete reinstatement, but it's only suitable for use in cast iron and steel pipes. And you can see there, that's just taking that back within, what, 2 minutes. So it's very, very aggressive and it's very, very quick. I said it's a new addition to our range, but it is mainly used for doing reinstatements in steel and cast iron pipes. You can see here it does create a lot of debris that you would either flush out with a bit of running water or have a vacuum or use some kind of vacuum for removing the dust, etc. But that is very, very quick, and that's it's a new tool that we've launched this year. It's also good in cast iron pipes for root cutting, etc. as well. So you can see here that it's formed a nice connection without very, very quickly. If you needed to, if you wanted to, you could just remove the little excess of material, the very small excess amount of material with the smart cutter.
Yeah, my understanding is this has been a very popular tool with our own services department in Finland, because it's making that really nice first opening connection very quickly.
Yes, it is very quick. And then we're just going to smooth the edges off with the smart cutter. Again, the smart cutter's mounted on a leader, so it's very easy to change over, and we're not getting long lengths of exposed steel shaft, which is a weak point. So when we're using the smart cutter, original chains, Tiger drill chains, express cutters, we always recommend that they are mounted onto a leader. Saves wear and tear, and also it means it's easier for swapping the tools over.
Kamera tonne väliin.
There's a bit of hand and eye coordination.
Käännätkö ton vähän niinku ton poispäin?
Without actually damaging the
Käännä toi kamera johonkin vaikka tohon seinään. Siis toi kamera. Joo, anna olla vaan siinä.
Saateko mä se teräviä?
There we go. So you can see the pipe down the lateral. Without working in a steel or cast iron pipe, the very little chance of damaging pipe work, unlike working on where the ground steel there we are, and look at that, how, and the shape of it as well, it's elliptical because we're going down because it's a 45-degree junction. So if you use a standard cutter or rigid cutter, you're going to get, you want to get that false, correct size elliptical finish, which we get with the smart cutter.
Great job, Timo. Thank you. And
And
Jukka.
Jukka also.
And
Yeah.
Jukka. I said, and
Special
Jukka.
thanks to
Jukka's
Jukka.
the best.
I just, yeah, let's move everything back to the original position. So yeah, I think that was much about it. So really basic reinstatement demo with different tools, but how could I say in English? We have like tools for every purpose or different purposes, like from the small to bigger ones. And with this, the reinstatements are really easy, fast, and you don't need to have this complicated, like the other tools might be a little bit more complicated than this, but it's simple and efficient way
Thanks,
to
Timo.
do the reinstatement.
Yeah, and there's some really good information about all of these tools and which tool goes with which machine on the Picote Institute on our quick guides as well. So if you're in any doubt, head over to picoteinstitute.com, register for free. And there are some free courses there about reinstatement, but then of course there's also lots of videos and resources, including those quick guides, which will show you everything you need to know about that as a little recap, because it's a lot of information to take in one go. We have a lot of tools. They're all very effective and do a great job. But if you want to remember which one's which, then just head over to the Institute. And you can also find out more information from picotegroup.com as well. And Jukka, so you're both very experienced in the field. Which tool do you like the best? I know it depends on the situation, it depends on the diameter.
It depends on the, but I'm a twister guy.
You're a twister.
Yeah, I like those really much. So it's so simple and safe way to open. Okay, it takes a little bit, maybe more time than, for example, the drill chain does, but yeah, time is just a relative. So, but if you are having a good and safe result, and you and afterwards, after you have done the hole to the connection, so it's much more easier to grind it. And especially in the plastic pipes, it's very important that you don't need to grind it too much. So definitely twister is my favorite tool, opening tool.
And these samples are made with these tools. So I made this and I didn't use the hand tool or whatever. I used the twister, smart cutter to finish, twister to make the first cut. And here is the closed connection. And it also depends which liner you're using. So if the liner is more tough than the other liner, then it's slower to cut it.
Thanks, Kimo. Does anyone have a question for Kimo or Yuka or Richard? If you do, feel free to pop it in the Q&A or the chat and they can answer it for you now. Or if you need to go away and have a wee think about it, that's not a problem either. Our team's always available to answer any questions that you have. And if you don't have their information already, head over to picotgroup.com, look on the contacts page, and you'll find everyone's information there. And you can, of course, like I said earlier, you can train with the Dream Team here over in Porvoo in Finland, which is a fantastic experience. And I would really suggest that you do that when you have the opportunity. And like I said, there's also our facility in Phoenix, Arizona, and in Sandhurst, UK as well. You can also talk to your reseller, of course. They're also very knowledgeable about everything that Picot does. We all work very closely together. And if you're not sure who your nearest reseller is, again, look on picotgroup.com/resellers. And that is where you can find the information about our partners worldwide. So I see that Steph has been very studiously putting all the information in the chat for you. There are lots of links there to the website, to the information about our training centres and about our resellers as well. Thank you, Steph. Okay. Well, we're going to be having another webinar in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to be discussing the Maxi Power Plus and its application and tools, which I'm very excited to share with everyone. That's going to be from our training centre in Sandhurst, and that will be on Thursday, the 2nd of May, the same time, 3 p.m. BST as it is now. I'm not sure how to work that out for all the time zones, but I'm sure you guys are much better than I am at that. We will post up the information as soon as it's available, and we'll send that out to you. The other thing we're going to do is Steph is always on the ball at taking the recordings from these webinars, tidying them up a wee bit and putting them on our YouTube channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Steph will make sure that goes up on the YouTube channel and on our website, where you can also find all the latest information about our webinar series as well. Oh. Okay, so Eric's asking about the best RPM to run the machine and if the RPMs are displayed on the tool somewhere. So who would like to answer that?
Do you want me to do that one?
Sure, go for it.
So when we talk about the RPM, it's very much dependent on what you're cutting and where and how and what tools you're using. But on the MIDI cleaner, the Super MIDI, the Maxi Miller, the Power Plus, on the control box we have a display, and that shows the RPM. On the battery millers and the battery cleaner, we have an adjustable speed on the control box, ranging from 0 to 10 from memory, and again in the operation manual for that machine, it would tell you the different speed settings and tell you the rough RPM for the speed settings there. On the small mini millers, mini cleaner that are powered, they use a Makita motor, so we have 6 speed settings on the actual Makita buffer. And we normally recommend that you use between speed settings 2 to speed setting 4 for the machines that you use, depending on the jobs that you're doing. But a lot of it is listening to the cutter and feeling the vibration coming through the shaft. I hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Richard. And like Tony pointed out in the chat as well, all the information can also be found in our operating manuals, which you'll also find on the Institute or on our website at picotgroup.com. So, oh, yeah, Eric's happy with that. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for our team before we head off? No. Well, that's not a problem. Like I said, come back to us anytime whatsoever. And, you know, our guys are always very happy to take your call and work through any questions that you have at any time about this or anything. So that's not a problem. So until we see you the next time on the 2nd of May for our Power Plus webinar, we'll head off. I'll say thank you very much to Jukka and to Kimmo for their excellent demonstrations and presentation as always from our HQ in Porvoo in Finland. And thank you, Dream Team, really appreciate it. And like I say, next time we'll be heading up the webinar from our facility in Sandhurst. So thanks to you, thanks to Richard, and take care everyone, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Have a nice day.